Artists are so selfish. You ever heard that one before? Oh man, that's what they say out there, isn't it? And then sometimes we start to believe it. You know, recently I said this to someone: artists are selfish until we decide that we're not. You know, this whole self-help, self-love thing is very interesting. Just the word itself, right? You have self before love and before help, and that in and of its own tells us a lot. There's a problem there. We put self first, you know. And as an actor, we train in a technique called the Meisner technique, which is a very repetitive kind of a thing, which is just, it just gets you to listen better. Ultimately, the whole goal of that exercise is to put the other before yourself. So something has to come before self. So this whole self-help, self-love thing, even though self-help, self-love stuff has helped me through the years, I wasn't fully satisfied. It's a trap. You could just be chasing your tail, kind of like a dog. You know, I've been wrestling with this for over 25 years. I've been challenged by this. I've wrestled with this, and I've landed with this. There's like 4 steps we could take, 4 things we could do that help us find more peace, more accomplishment, more courage. I mean, these things that seem to be so like hard to grasp, we could try these, right? Just try them. First, we have to admit. Well, admit what? Admit that we need help and that we desire to experience love, true love. And that requires that we actually speak this out and ask for help. So admitting that is hard because, you know, we're taught we got to stack up on all the things we can to get ourselves help ourselves. But in fact, we have to admit that we need someone to help us. We can't do this alone, right? And that's the whole point. We got to find a family, a community, a friend, someone that can walk with us, that understands our ache and our journey. So admit that we need this. We need the help and we desire love. Second thing, we have to consider something quite cosmic. And it's that this self comes from a greater being, something bigger than ourselves. As artists, we are tied to something bigger than ourselves. That means we have to contemplate on something beyond us, right? There's this phrase, this term in the spiritual conversation, which is metanoia, and it's a word that means transformation. It means to go beyond ourselves. There again, just like in Meisner, we have to think beyond ourselves and we have to think about this bigger entity. So once we can consider that there's a creator, this greater being that's created everything, the universe created us, and now also wants to create through us, conversation gets very interesting. Leads to the third step, which is to trust. It's a massive act of faith, to trust. Trust what? That the impossible is possible. That the creator of the universe not only wants to create through us, but that he's the source of this help we desire and this love we desire. And how do we tap into that? How do we plug into the creator? Well, it's in the moment, you know, and us actors and any artist will tell you that when you get into the moment, when you're in a flow state, look at certain musicians, right? One of our favorite musicians is John Bellion. When you watch that man create, he goes into a flow state. He's just jamming. And that's what we crave, is to be so in the moment that we're flowing with the creator. But there's so much obstruction because we doubt. And so what's the fourth step? How do we take care of that doubt? How do we eliminate the doubt that we are loved, that we are being helped divinely? So we surrender it. That's the fourth step. Surrender the good and the bad. And I was recently just telling my son that we receive something good and we rejoice, or we receive something bad. Like for us actors, it's rejection, it's the silence of no bookings, it's the email that has a bunch of no's from agents. I mean, you name it. There's so many moments of just lows, but there's a lot of moments of highs. And whether it's high or low, we bring that to the creator right there. You know, for us Christians, we say we bring that to the cross because that's where we find the ultimate solace, the ultimate love. So we surrender it. We surrender good, we surrender the bad. And what does that look like? There's a physical movement to that. Some of us kneel, some of us actually lay down. You know, recently I was having a really bad day and I just took a hot shower, finished it with a cold shower, and I just laid down. And I breathed, I cried, I breathed again, and then I laughed, and then I took a nap. But I rested because I surrendered. And that's it. That's what it takes. And sometimes you got to cycle back through and again. Admit, consider the cosmic, trust it, and then you surrender it. So when you're consuming self-help and self-love stuff, books, programs, videos, you know, receive it. And it's kind of like that yes and principle, right? You receive it and then go further. You know, go further. Make sure it takes you onto a path where you get to experience that divine love, that divine help that is readily available to us who are faithfully asking for it. There it is, my friends. Give it a try. Let me know how it goes. Meet me in the comments, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.